Imagine over 248 years ago. Imagine a time where there's many civilizations like this now, many places in our world. Imagine feeling every day the pressure, the oppression, the stress, the anxiety, where life, liberty, and our pursuit, or just our happiness, were a far-off dream. Imagine between 1763 and 1776, the colonists were feeling that pressure. They were feeling unfairly taxed. They were feeling diminished by a ruler, by a king who had never been to the colonies. They felt ignored by the British. And the story of our country, the story of America's founding, is a tale of unwavering resilience, courage, and a relentless pursuit of something worthy of us. Something worthy of people made in the image of God. From the struggles against colonial rule to the establishment of a nation built on democratic principles, the founding fathers of the United States set a precedent of asserting independence and self-determination. The vision encompassed not just political sovereignty, but economic autonomy, freedom, a desire to break free from financial dependence on distant powers, people making goods and selling us their goods and taxing us on them, particularly England. This is all about England and the dream for what this country was going to one day become. The pursuit of this, as I'm going to go through this and show you how there's so many parallels, even though we're celebrating independence today, and it's 248 years of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I'm going to ask you, is it really? You all are here because you want more. You want something different for yourself, for your families, for your future generations. And I'm going to show you how our original founding fathers, particularly 7 men, 7 former British patriots. Think about that. British patriots, loyal to a king, loyal to a governing body, changed because they saw something unfair. They saw a better path forward. And they did what? They took action. So when we look at this, some of the turning points, right? We're going to go about the British brutality, and some of it was a great shift in just how it was shared. Like the Boston Massacre. There were 7 British troops surrounded by a bunch of rioters, and when those men got scared, they fired into the crowd, killing some of the colonists. And that became a rally. And then there was separation between the North and the South, right? The South called the North the Yankees. They were nervous about what was going to happen with their workers and their dependence on everything that was British and slavery. But then the Britons, the English showed their brutality. They burned Falmouth, they burned Norfolk, they shocked the colonies, and it showed the true face of what happens when you rule from fear, when you rule from a place of power, not heart, not goodness. George Washington condemned these attacks. He became the beacon, the leader of the colonists. He became the leader. And if you go and you research George Washington, he wasn't a great on the battlefield general. He was a great avoider of wars. He was a great strategist who attacked at opportune times. And his words, his condemnation resonated through the colonies. And the Southerners rose up and saw these attacks, these burning of the fields, as a way to unite with their northern brethren, a way to come together. And we united in adversity. We united in a way that changed our lives forever, and the lives of all of our forefathers, the generations that came here, whether we came here 1, 2, 3, 4 generations ago, or maybe we're new. Maybe we are immigrants today, right? There's still so much freedom in this country. But over that period, right, what were some of the feelings? What were some of the things that we saw? The founding fathers, they felt it. The colonies felt this discontent. They felt that pressure, that oppression. The revolutionary leaders emerged. They were great thinkers. They were great speakers. They were great creators. You had George Washington. You had Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson. These patriots saw an opportunity. They saw a way to establish something new, something independent, something worth fighting for, something worth dying for. Their freedom and the freedom of their future families. Bringing the North and the South together, Washington led us eventually to defeat. And now we had the Declaration of Independence, which we still today guides all of our governing bodies. It still guides what's going on, but things have been twisted. You know, this new nation, this beacon of hope, this beacon of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness has been slowly, over decades, over centuries, been twisted in a way where it's not even recognizable. Could you imagine if we could go back in time and talk to Jefferson, talk to Washington, talk to Quincy Adams, talk to the first founding fathers, the ones that committed treason to write the Declaration of Independence? Could you imagine the courage and the belief they had to do what was right, to do what they saw was going to be best for this country that wasn't even united yet? Just imagine. We are so blessed where we live. We're so blessed with everything, technology, everything's at our fingertips. Anything we want to become, we can research it in an instant. We can go learn it, right? So when we look to today and we see the twisting of this vision, and first I want to bring in my special guest who's been patiently waiting here. Let's bring in Connor Patrick. There you go. So Connor, you know, Connor, what do you think of the Founding Fathers? What do you think it must have been like for them?
Well, it was probably hard because they didn't have much stuff, and because like the time it would take for them to get goods to America, so they would most likely have gotten their own. So they were really working hard, and it must have been very hard for them to even buy something because, well, there probably wasn't much back then. But
that's right. There wasn't much back then. There was a lot of scarcity. There was a lot of waiting. There was a lot of patience. There was a lot of things that we would be so uncomfortable with just to be a colonist here, just to be in the first 13 colonies. And now when we look at the twisting of the Founding Fathers' vision, right, we look at our banking system. It's a far cry from the ideals of economic self-determination. The mega banks, right, the predatory lending have left us oppressed. Americans are oppressed, we're stressed, and we're on the brink of financial disaster. Wherever I go now, wherever I am this morning on a ride, I met a couple of new fathers and amazing men and leaders in their own rights, their own communities, and I could feel the stress. I could hear them talking about the cost of things, like a cost of going and doing a race together, or bringing their family to it. And then we had the Industrial Revolution, where it seemed like, okay, things are getting better. Working conditions are improving. You know, now we have schools, we've formalized education. We've taken these systems, right, oil and steel and the major corporations, and we've made things accessible to Americans. It seemed like we were in an economic, prosperous time, but slowly over time, that's removed creation. It's consolidated power, and the system has creators, entrepreneurs as the odd man and woman out. As the ones, oh, you're crazy if you go out there and you create and you solve someone's problems. Like, that makes no sense. Like, we are, as creators, the ones that have the closest lineage to our Founding Fathers. And much like England 248 years ago, the Federal Reserve has control over our financial institutions without any say by the people. Think about that. We don't elect who runs our money. We don't elect who is over the Federal Reserve. It is a private institution. Those folks don't represent us. They don't have our best interest in mind. They say they do, But when we look, just look at where we're at today. Look at inflation. Look at the markets. Look at just where things are going. Look how far your dollar goes. We went to our grocery store yesterday, and I almost died. We bought a 6-pack, right? It's the 4th of July today. It was like $12. I was like, oh my gosh. It was crazy. For anything that you want, it's so expensive. And when we look at it, we want to think, how can we take back control? And this is why I have Connor here, because he's my reason. He's one of my biggest drivers. Now, yes, it's about my journey with money, my relationship with money, what my parents taught me and didn't teach me. And now how can we help our kids not have those same fears around money? How can they be self-determined? How can they have autonomy? And we're going to go into the man who changed my life here in a moment. I mean, there's a few mentors, but the one who, without ever meeting him, and sometimes people get confused with mentors. I think mentor is a formalized relationship. Almost always a mentorship is someone that you can learn from, maybe someone that answers questions once in a while, but it's not typically formal. And Connor, when you think of America, when you think of independence, when you think about the journey that we've been on as a family for financial independence, for banking, like what did it feel like when you knew that you got your first bank a little over a year ago? What was that like?
It was pretty exciting because...
And could you kind of but other than explaining, can you kind of tell people how your system works and maybe what we've used it for? And none of this is rehearsed, by the way. This is just me inviting Connor to share our time with you today.
So we use the policy for like our ski trips and stuff. And once we would get the ski trips, we would come back. Maybe like a month later, Daddy would put the money back into it. So then at the end of the month, it would like multiply, kind of.
That's
it was
right.
really cool.
High five. It multiplies, it keeps growing, he knows it's uninterrupted. He sees us practicing the system and putting the money back in and making sure that we're going to keep using that year over year, because part of this is the ability to live our legacy, to enjoy fun, to enjoy money. Money is nothing more than a means of exchange. We only get to do this once, guys, and everyone here joining us, just guys in general, right? And so when we look at what the founding fathers saw, I was talking about this on the AMA the other day, Ask Me Anything, and the founding fathers were champions for the future. They believed in empowerment through education. They were modern financial thinkers that believed that you could have economic autonomy. You could be independent of a ruler. You could have that at home, and it's been so twisted. And so this is what Nelson Nash saw. This is what Nelson Nash brought to us. He brought to us a concept to learn, to practice and apply, not a product, right? Infinite banking is a process. It is the movement of money from one side to the other and then back. It is the process of taking back control of our banking system. It is of the banking functions in our life, of our personal economy, however you want to say it. And when we look at some of the parallels between what happened then with financial education, independence from the banks, personal sovereignty, community building. These are all things that you're seeing today coming back around. We're showing you how the wealthiest families have been doing this for 2 centuries, right? For hundreds of years, this has been how the wealthiest families have been doing things. This is how Disney World was built. It was built by having autonomy, by having vision, by having the willingness to go out and fight for something worth fighting for. And yes, sometimes we fall down. Sometimes we fail. Sometimes we don't, right, Connor? What is the thing that I may or may not get the most upset for when the words come out of your mouth? What is the one thing that we're working on together?
I'm not saying I can't. Or like, so like if I were to say I can't, I would have to say I can't yet. I can't just say like I can't, like I don't wanna, and no. No is a very big one.
I can't yet. I can't yet. Like Connor is a champion. He puts himself out there and demo and performs in front of hundreds, several hundred people on stage, lights on him, right? And gives it his best, and he understands that there's things that he isn't able to do yet. And it takes practice, it takes growth. So part of this movement is our ability to show up here, to be in that 5%, to be the people. Look how many people are here on the 4th of July investing in yourself, supporting this mission. Like, I'm lit up right now. I'm so excited having Connor here, having my biggest why here, and then Connor gets to pass this on for generations to come. Remember, the first principle of infinite banking, of privatizing your banking system, is what? What's the first principle? Pop it in the chat. I know Linus knows, I know Drew knows, I know most of you know this, but just keep repeating it, right? We want to say these things until we're tired of hearing ourselves. And then we go out and say it some more. And if we look at what the vision, I just love this slide. Look how it goes from being back in Boston in the 1700s into modern cities. I'm surprised there's not some flying Jetson-like vehicles there. But look what the vision of economic empowerment is. It's individual liberty. It's self-governance. It's economic resilience. Things are going to change always. There's one constant in life. Things are going to change. And we're human. We're going to have good days. We're going to have bad days. It's much like the market. It's going to be up and down emotionally. The only thing we can control is how we react in those situations. And if we build a bedrock that is so strong, I imagine if we had, Connor, what if we had Thomas Jefferson here right now, George Washington, Ben Franklin? How cool would that be, guys? They just walked in right now. Maybe one day we'll be able to do something like that. But could you imagine if they came here, what would you think that they would think of about the infinite banking journey, the founding fathers' mission to inspire and educate fathers and their families?
Well, I think it'll be really cool because, so Benjamin Franklin, I'm pretty sure you all know how he invented stuff. Well, this, in a way, is also like that because his inventions support people a lot of the time. So this is also supporting people, so I think he would think it's really cool, and maybe, if he was still alive, he would actually like it a lot. Maybe he could even join.
Do you think he would create his own bank?
Yeah.
I do too. I think he would give us a high five and create his own bank. And when we look, I'm inviting everyone here. You guys are here weekly. I'm inviting you to invite others, to bring them, to join us as we celebrate today, as we celebrate living in the greatest still today, even with all the problems, even with what's going on in our elections. Join us and invite people to join for financial freedom. We got to keep exploring new concepts, rethinking our thinking, honor the legacy, honor just the basic fundamentals of what we all want. We want to provide for those we love. We want to protect those we love, and we want to create more for the future. And that takes courage. That takes being willing to fail, like my friend Peter Swain says, in glorious technicolor, and do it often and fast. That is one of the greatest things I've been learning from so many mentors. A lot of times there is no plan. It is simply about taking action and doing the next thing. That's what today is. Today is just showing you where we were 248 years ago, taking a moment to acknowledge the courage and also the adversity faced, and then bringing that back to how we can continue the legacy of freedom, how we can embrace our freedom, how we can empower each other through knowledge. One of the things we say all the time is we don't want to teach you or fish for you. I still think fishing's kind of boring. Connor would probably like to go fishing more. But it's one thing when I was a kid, I didn't have the patience for it. I would rather be playing and skipping rocks or running or swimming or doing anything that had action versus sitting there hoping something was going to bite. And we don't want to teach you all how to, or we don't want to fish for you. We want to teach you how to fish. You guys know what I'm saying. And we want to keep empowering you through knowledge. That's why we're here today. We want to keep giving you knowledge and showing you the parallels and just inviting you to think differently and build the community. And by building the supportive community, if we believe this, if you believe this, Linus, Dexter, Drew, bring somebody, invite somebody, share this message. Could you imagine how this is? I know how this has changed each of your lives. I know how this has changed the Sipple's family's life and legacy for generations to come, far past Connor even. So invite people, and let's keep carrying that torch forward. Let's be a beacon of hope. Let's inspire future generations to come and celebrate with us, and we'll have the biggest party ever. Imagine 50 years from now, 100 years from now, 10 million families practicing privatized banking. I bet you now there's less than 100,000 families practicing this. I don't know if that's a true fact, but I would guess that it's less than 100,000. Could you imagine if millions of Americans were doing this? We would take back control from the banks. Banks could no longer control inflation. We would control inflation by being creators, by selling goods, creating things, trading with each other, just exchanging value. So Connor, any last thoughts as we're wrapping up our 4th of July special, going in the way back machine and bringing it all the way to Founding Fathers today and our vision?
Well, I think that it's really cool that you guys are here on the 4th of July because a lot of people are probably going somewhere, and you're supporting my dad, who's just started almost like on this like webinar thing, maybe like a year or and a half ago, and now he has 7 people. And one day I hope he gets 1 billion people on this.
And that's the vision. That's the vision. And so you know, like the hope is to have. Now we have a lot more people than when I started. There was days when we did this presentation and there was no one here other than myself and my wife and a few close friends. Today, I hope the other day I was so tired I told someone Happy Thanksgiving, but today on the 4th of July, we're here together. We're celebrating America. We're celebrating the greatest country in the world still today. People are from every country still want to come here, build their communities here because there's so much opportunity. We have an opportunity in front of us to make this country truly free again. Independently, privatized banking is the way. It is the way forward. It is the money multiplier method that is going to change things. So if you all are looking to take back control of your financial future, you know you can always reach out to me directly. You can schedule a call. Right there's the link. But more than anything, I just want to express gratitude today for you being here. Bring a friend, invite people, give feedback, constructive feedback. I want to know how we can reach more people, create more freedom for families, for fathers that protect, provide, and create legacy. So truly blessed. Be careful playing with fireworks tonight. Have some fun. Root for Ecuador. They're playing Argentina. And let's have a wonderful rest of the 4th. Have fun all. Love you all. See you next week.
Wait, so if your name is Dexter Holiday, I would like to tell you my name is spelled Connor.
And there we have it. I love that. So thank you guys. Oh yeah. Wait, I forgot the fun. We forgot this. How's that? Get a little country all. So have a blessed. Go America. See you next time.
Bye.
Today we went on a journey. We went back over 248 years ago to before our original Founding Fathers showed us what it was to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. Back to a time when we were oppressed by England. Back by a time where our existence was tense, stressful, and not free at all. And we showed you how over time their vision has eroded. We've showed you how big banks, predatory lending, how the Federal Reserve, how our system of work and schooling have truly brought us Americans to our financial needs. And we showed you how we can take control again by privatizing our money through the infinite banking concept. So if you found today educational, inspiring, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and ring the bell. It might just turn blue for you. Until next time, I'll see you. Watch this video. Keep learning, keep taking back control of your money, and having your big vision in mind. And I'll see you in the next video.